Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the talk, think, port that proves that there is no doubt that the so called African American, black person, Negro, colored, whatever we want to call ourselves, whatever mask we want to hide behind, those people did not originate across the waters. They are homegrown. They're like all the indigenous animals you have running around here. They're like all the indigenous plants you have running around here. These are the people that America produced. The so called African American, if all lands produce people, America produced what you call now African American. Can you mute?
Sorry.
Whereupon spring is right around the corner, seasons are changing. We we have so much energy to do so much things if it's all in one fist instead of being one finger. Spring is about around the corner. And to the indigenous people, spring is the new year, new ideas, new ways of looking at things, new ways of being. Shed that old skin and be a little better. It's the new year, new, fresh. You know how freshness smells. In exactly 1 month from now, indigenous community is having a mashup in Atlanta. And this is to meet and greet, talk about what's going on in the news. But it's a time for us to start seeing each other because if everybody can see the way the world is going, we're only going to have us to rely on. We'll get into this later. A young man shared a story with me today, and this cat lives in Atlanta. What's going on out there? Phoenix Moon is bringing a lot of indigenous people together, a lot of people who are starting to think in one vein. She's here to talk about that tonight, along with Leesa from the Acamax. We're going to answer questions. We're going to talk about health. We're going to talk about what way should we be moving? What are we doing now? As a group of people, what are we doing? We just can't talk. We just can't talk. You have to do something. That's every single last one of us. That's the baby coming out the womb now. That's where we are. Many people have said that, yo man, forget it, we doomed. You got some people who just don't have there's no movement. I mean, their soul isn't moving. The energy isn't flowing. And if that's what we are as energy, are we doing what we're supposed to do? So that's going to be the situation tonight. We hope you join us. If you're in the chat, if you got some questions, we'll make sure the questions get answered. Because I'm going to shut up and let these two ladies have it. Phoenix Moon, how you doing tonight?
Halito, I am well. How are you?
I'm doing cool. Leesa, my Akamak friend, how are you? See?
Yeah, now
Hi, Lisa.
I'm great. I'm great.
Cool. Hey, look, you know how we do it. We jump right into it. Phoenix.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I just wanted to shout out to everyone that has already started purchasing their tickets for the No Grandma Killers tour. There are still some tickets out there that need to be purchased. You definitely want to be there. This will be the start of many celebrations to come. This is the new year, so it's very important. Historically, with the civil rights movement, Atlanta seemed like the optimum place, just so we can absorb that energy. April is always a good month for the American Indians. Lots of laws are generally passed favorably for the American Indian in April. Maybe it's something that shifts and Congress actually agrees to, um, you know, put something out there. And then, of course, our attention gets redirected and we wind up looking everywhere else except for the solution. That's generally what we've been doing. We're looking to change that. We are no longer going to focus on problems. We're looking to be around people that have solutions, and willing to work through those. I'm super excited. We got an all-star cast going, Carrie Davis, and we will have special guest Leesa. So excited. We have Johnny Aborigine, Coach Kuka, Tasha She. We have Omar Crazy, the celebrity barber. He's hilarious. Gabriel Rich will be hosting. This will be Omar's debut to everybody else, but I'm pretty sure no one will forget him. He's an awesome comedian, awesome host. And we have a couple of other surprises for people. Great vendors are going to be there as well. So definitely, it's going to be a nice experience, educational. The shopping will be there. We'll have entertainment, and there'll be all of our vendors that people are actually familiar with. So it'll be cool. It'll be really cool. I'm super excited.
What prompted you to, bring this on? How did you get to this point?
Well, I've talked about it for probably 2 years, and I ran it by Coach Crewcut. And he kind of like made it happen like the next day. He made a couple of phone calls and he said, "You sure? You ready?" And I said, "I'm ready." And that was just it. And we kind of put it together and we spoke with Tasha. Definitely always wanted to do some sort of ventures with her. And it just so happens that we have common kinship, bloodline kinship. So that made it even better. And we kind of ran with it. And then we got invited to the other places, Las Vegas and Oklahoma, and then to Louisiana. So that kind of kicked off the tour, and other people backed it and wanted to see this happen and come into fruition. And we just kind of got it done.
So we're gonna this is gonna be a reoccurring theme throughout this show. We're gonna keep going back and telling you the date so you can tell us the date because it's exactly 1 month from today.
Yes, yes.
We're gonna keep doing that date. And one thing about it's been raining down here in the south for at least for the past 3 days in a row. When spring hits, and this is one of the things I like about this part of the country. When spring hits, it lights up like Emerald City out here because the greenery. This is kind of like a forest. If you look at it and look at how the map runs, you can see that this was a part of the Amazon forest years ago.
Right.
So, hey, so tell us the dates again.
April 4th, 2020. 4/4/2020. That's going to be Saturday, April 4th. We do have the website should be up shortly, probably in the next couple of hours, actually. And it'll have the hotel, the lodging information, and you'll be able to purchase the tickets there as well. Again, that's going to be Saturday, April 4th, 2020 in Atlanta.
Be there, guys, because Georgia's nice at that time. Georgia's nice at this time. Lisa,
Hey,
how you doing?
great, great, great. Very excited about what Phoenix is doing. I'm just like excited that it is at the new year, at the Indigenous New Year, and that she's going to be, reaching her people where they are and like just making things happen. It's so we talk so much as people. I love it that we're doing. It's definitely the year. It's a time. It's a season. The new year.
Yes.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, Phoenix. The new year. So excited that you are doing this on the Indian New Year, and it's time. It's gonna be like amazing, amazing.
Yes. So, this is the time, guys, where really we're going to have to start producing our own time, making time in the way that we see it. See, we can't celebrate New Year's in the dead of winter. That makes no sense. When you think about it, it makes no sense. So I think one of the ways that'll be good for us if we amalgamate ourselves with the way the seasons go, because that's one of the things that we got away from, writing almanacs and stuff, knowing the weather, knowing the seasons, knowing the water of all moonrise, sunset. We got out of that. So, I think this is a good time for us to start getting back into that. And I think nature will give us nature will work with us better if we knew what we were doing in that way. So that's why I think having looking at time from our point of view instead of somebody else's point of view, I think is a win situation for us.
That's right. That's right. It's absolutely a win situation. This will be, I think this will be a great opportunity for us to see who we'll be able to work with, who's looking to be productive and actually make some things happen and change. You can't do it. A lot of this is just, we want to see who's going to be really about it. That's pretty much it. What people can do. We don't need a million American Indians to make things change. We can have 10 people that can make things change. We can have 100 people that can make things change effectively at that. There's a lot of calamity and things in the way, in the area of fraudulent activity and a lot of people trying to insert themselves into this narrative. Um, and everybody's gonna have to show and prove. It's not for the bandwagon jumpers. We actually have a long ways to go, and certainly don't want the bandwagon jumpers sticking their feet out. That's pretty much it. We're actually putting anti-fraud unit together as we speak. We're working on that. We got some young people that are full of fire. They know their truth, but they just have a couple of questions to the elders, and they ask, "Why are all of these, fraudulent people around?" So the younger ones, they do have some trust issues, rightfully so. But I don't run from them. I am very active in the community. I can still get the most unruly kids to sit down and give me 5 minutes of their attention without being disrespected too. Approach is everything, and sometimes all they want to do is just be heard. But these youngins, they want to know who some of these people are. They want to know how did we take some of these people serious, and what are we going to do about it? They're looking to participate, but they're very uncomfortable being lied to, and they feel that there's some people in the way attaching themselves to this particular narrative with our very unique situation, and it does bother them, and they're looking to be active and make sure that that we're able to teach and provide the information without the friction from the obstacle courses.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's the cool part about it. It's the young people asking. The
Mhm.
youth are like, "What the hell?" And they kind of really pissed off.
Right.
And I just let them know, and I think this would be a good chance to let them know. Do not keep going in the same direction. Do not keep going. You're gonna have to change it. And I think the people that'll come in there will give them the ideas and the impetus to get going. Leesa, what do you think about that?
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's true. I think that they need to see that what we say is what we say, and we're moving in the same direction that we're talking in. You know what I mean? Are you going
Right.
or you talking left and going right. Like that needs to not happen, and we need to make sure that we mean what we say, and we say what we mean, and we follow through. So this is all like part of it. So I think that's great, and I also really feel that it's very important to start as the brother that's in Philly, brother Bag, the guy who's a Bagwell who was in Philly, who's organizing in Philly, his people. He's also part of the Acamax, um, to have the city change. It was actually change their way of teaching the youth about Negro history. And that's the kind of things we need to start looking at as far as the youth is concerned. We need to start reaching them in the schools. We need to start impacting them in the elementary schools and the middle schools, and letting them know who they are, and becoming a force to be reckoned with there. Because a lot of us are past whatever, and it's all about the youth. And if we don't get the youth understanding and having a full, knowledge and heading in the right directions, we're missing out. So yeah, it's great to get the 20 and 30 somethings, but we also got to get the kiddos and really make an impact on that. And also, make some changes in the whole history thing. Like we need to start, getting some legislature like they did in Philly, like they did in Philadelphia, to say that they can't teach lies anymore. They have to change the way they teach our children about the history of the Indian.
Okay, just hear me out on this. Because I get into this with a lot of people about education.
Mm-hmm.
This is me. I say scrap the whole thing because it doesn't work. And I think today we have the technology, the know-how, and the people to teach our youth. Because I mean, I talk to these young men, and they like, you don't understand. And I'm like, yeah, I do. It's not setting them up for nothing. It's not taking them from point A to point B, and they see it.
Right.
So I'm not trying to come in there and tell them, oh man, well you got it, because I understand what they're saying, and it's not just one of them saying it. We should have by now an education system, because we know, because when I went to school, it was fucked up.
Right.
So how is it now? So that's what I mean. That type of stuff is on us.
We're not anywhere near that. You know what I mean?
Right.
We got to be realistic. Okay, we
No,
don't.
no, 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 no. That's where I am. That's where I am. So
First of all, in our own families, half of us don't have all our whole families on board. You got to start with your family. Get your own cousin to wake up. Get your auntie over there.
That's right.
All those other people. You
That's
get
right.
that is a lot of work. It's
That's
a lot
right.
of getting your own folk to act right. It'll
right.
wear you out. And if we could all do that, like a lot of these people on Facebook, a lot of these people in these groups, a lot of people watching these videos, if they would work on their own families, that's where you're really making change when you get that done. Because they're the hardest. They're your biggest opponents and your biggest
Right.
allies. When they're on point, they're your biggest allies.
That's right.
But we got to get there. And then once you get your families, you might be able to convince one or two of them to say, oh, well, maybe you might want to homeschool Johnny or whatever, because this is a bunch of crap. But at this point, we're not there yet. We are nowhere near. We got to start with the basics, and that's just me, you, and my folk, and then bigger folk, and then kin, and tribes, and lands, and regions,
That's
and
right.
all of that.
That's right. That's right.
no,
It takes years to put in that work. And you, like I said, I say it all the time. You got to be able to walk and chew bubble gum. One thing I can say, I've always had the support of my parents, but not so much the aunts and uncles. They are now. It's taken about 4 or 5 years, but there's irrefutable information that I've provided. I've been able to tell them questions about, answer questions about my grandmother and my great aunts that they
Mhm.
didn't have any idea about. So
Right.
people have come to me for the history. I became the go-to person.
Mhm.
And now one of my biggest fighters is one of my biggest allies right now.
Right.
And my uncle, he's actually this. They tried to surprise me, but I overheard them. He'll be in Atlanta. My
Right.
other aunt is coming. My grandmother's youngest daughter,
That's
my
me.
maternal grandmother's youngest daughter. They'll be there to support me. My siblings, of course, my twin sister, and there's another sister that I'll be introducing to everybody. She'll be present as well.
Mhm.
And it takes a long time.
Mhm.
I've always had my siblings to back me up, but um, to actually have them believe in the process and believe what could be done, I had to lead by example. I got my ass whipped all across the board. So
Mhm.
while they were jumping me in these groups on Facebook and trying to shut my channel down here on YouTube, I was having the family battles. I was having
Mhm.
simultaneous wars that no one really knew that I
Right.
was fighting, but I didn't give up. I didn't get angry. I didn't
Mhm.
become belligerent. I led by example. I made myself a go-to person, and this is the shoes that I wanted to fill. So there's no way I can
Yeah.
take myself out of it now.
Right.
So now that I've gained their trust, the last thing I'm going to do is let them down,
Right.
right? And also, I want to make them feel comfortable, whatever it is that they'll be able to contribute. I don't want to seem like the only one that knows all of the information. So
Right.
I've been teaching it to my children and giving it to the younger cousins, my cousins, my nieces,
Mhm.
and they've been able to retain the information. So when I couldn't talk to the adults, I would have the conversations with the children. So there's no wool that was being pulled over their eyes, and it made them interested and it made them intrigued. And
That's
then when
right.
they had questions for the adults, when I wasn't around, guess what? The adults had to call me to find an answer to that question.
Right.
So, and now we discuss things as family, and it's a lot different. And even now, getting that now that they agree to me, still takes some getting used to
Right.
because I've always been met with resistance or,
Mhm.
walking away and not really wanting to talk about it and discussions becoming heated. You know what I'm saying? But and I've also they've seen me not even express any type of chink in the armor. And they know they were hard on me, but I didn't stop.
Right.
And again, I had to come down to a lot of levels that kind of made me uncomfortable. But if you want someone to be able to open up, you got to kind of catch them in their environment. So if I had to go sit in church with this auntie to humor
Mhm.
her so that she'd be in her element and feel comfortable, that's
Right.
what I did. So
Mhm.
it was a sacrifice. It wasn't just me constantly trying to push something. My mother told me something about 4 years ago that completely made sense. And she said, when it comes to you talking about us being American Indian, she said, lead by attraction, not promotion.
Mhm. Mhm.
Make them understand by attraction, not by promotion.
Right.
That made a lot of sense to me.
Mhm.
Your mom told you that?
Yes, she
Mhm.
did.
Don't moms always say some cool shit?
Yes, she
Yeah.
does.
Uh-huh.
Yes, she does. Yes, they all do. Yes, they
Yeah.
do.
I think
Something
moms
that you
always.
always remember at that.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's why I make the point. The mamas, you gotta the mamas. We gotta pay attention to them. We
Right.
gotta pay attention to what the women are saying.
Right.
And what they're not saying.
Right.
We got to pay attention to it. One of the things that we'll be talking about there is that I'll give you an example, and I'll give you these examples from what's going on in the news today, so everybody will feel where I'm coming from. A couple of weeks ago, or last week, or whenever it was, uh, the character known as Oprah Winfrey had a fall on stage. The reason that is hands are being taken off of her. See, there was a time when that woman was loved and revered all over this country. She could do no wrong.
Mhm.
And since that time, that's all she's been doing is procuring these young girls for the elite people, so to say.
Right.
When you saw that fall the other day, and this is why I say we have to pay attention to us.
Right.
We have to set up our own network.
Right.
When you saw her fall the other day, that was us.
Hmm. Mhm.
Take your hands off of that. Take your hands off. Take your hands off of that. Stop believing in that stuff that ain't real. Because your energy keeps it up. Your energy keeps it afloat. If it's nothing to you, it'll fall like she did. And that was a wake up call to all of us. So everybody saw it. And a couple of people understood what I'm saying. They're like, yeah, I see that. So this is what we're going to have to do. If we're the moral compass in this country. Everybody hears what we say. Everybody, and they know. And like Phoenix said earlier, we've been the ones not wanting to know, running away. You hate your African self. Nah, we're going into a time frame in this world where everybody's gonna have to go back home to their mamas. You're gonna have to go back to the motherland, so to say. Everybody's gonna have to do it on the planet. You better
That's
be
right.
woke on what's coming down the pipe, y'all. And I know many of you already see it, so I don't have to say nothing. I know. I mean, we talk about it all the time, but you know what's coming. Be prepared, and we'll be talking about that there too. Phoenix.
Yes, indeed. Yes, sir.
So what kind of
Definitely.
food gonna be there? Like what? Hot dogs?
Oh no, oh no, oh no. We have this is a surprise. I don't want to let the cat out the bag kinda, but this I'm just gonna
Then
say that
don't. Then don't.
one
Then
of
don't. Then
our
don't. No, 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 don't.
well, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you who is gonna be there. We have Chef Will. He's gonna be in the building. Chef Will Carter. He's got all sorts of good desserts and all these nice little yummy things and eye candy and all this other stuff that we're gonna absolutely love. But then there's one of our American Indian brothers, and he's like a dope scholar, great father, homeschools his children. Everybody knows him. He shares his work everywhere. He has a food truck that him and his wife are coming with. So that's going to be really cool too. And they have a menu, and we'll have that posted. The website is going to probably be up in a couple of hours, and we'll add a little more details. So everybody that wants to know those little details, you're gonna have to go to the website and check some things out. We're gonna have other vendors there. Um, the No Grandma Killer vendors will be there. They'll have the T-shirts, and we have people with that's going to have a different type of artistry and candles. We're looking to have a Reiki master there so they can do some energy healing. We got a lot of things that are going to be there. A lot of people that are going to be there. A lot of useful things. Um, and then, of course, there's going to be the panel, the super dope panel. We're going to have a nice presentation. We're going to be doing genealogy on the spot for people as well.
uh, I had somebody said something and I wanted you guys to hit this. Marcus Adamu says the young people are not listening because the root is not saying anything.
Oh, I beg
And
to differ. I'm out and about with a lot of these young children, and like I said, I can get their attention. And there are a lot of schools. I live in an area where there's a lot of high schools, a lot of traffic where they catch the buses to go to and fro their prospective neighborhoods as they, exit from these different high schools and a couple of junior high schools here. So, and my aunt has a law office like in right smack in the middle. So there's no way you can walk to your car or go anywhere without bumping to a cluster of children. Sometimes they're really unruly. Sometimes they're really talking about something, and you're like, you know what, young man, you keep thinking like that, you're gonna be wealthy. There's some things that you can speak life in all of 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Without even having to go and preach to them, but they've attained those things. But I'm seeing a lot of kids making really smart choices. They're asking the right questions. They're actually even looking for the right peers to be around. Now, I want to know who are going to be the positive reinforcements that don't have, mind giving up 5, 10, 20 minutes to sit down and talk to these young children. It basically, it's always going to start at home. Even if you don't have small children, you have nieces and nephews. There's people that you can be active with. So as long as you're doing your part with the youth, I don't, see that as being a problem. I'm actually looking forward to it because not only are they tough, but they question things and they, you can't tell them it's shit and it's really shinola. They want to know what it is and they get to the bottom of it. And I like that energy. I like the inquisitiveness, and I also like the fact that they're not so easy to say yes to everything. There's kind of nothing wrong with that. Instead of looking down at some of the qualities that they have, I look at how you can work with them and how you can make that positive and favorable because that means they won't be loving and trusting a whole bunch of foreigners telling them that they're Indian, right? And out here defrauding the community. We have to first be able to allow them to identify their own kind because all skin folk ain't kinfolk, and they're gonna have to see some some things to where they're able to make a distinction. How do they want to, how do they want to represent their stock? How do they want to represent their race? You have to give them something proud to want to be, want to make sure, you give them a new outfit. They don't want to get dirty. They want it to be ironed and looking crisp and looking fresh. Well, if you have them thinking that their history, their bloodline, their families are just as important as their appearance, as then maybe they'll have some pride and show a little more contrition. Where people, a lot of adults may think that they're avoiding.
Lisa, what do you say on that?
Okay. Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that believing has destroyed us. That whole believe thing, we've got that down pat. We believe everything. We believe the man on the news. We believe everything. Okay, and we believe it so hard we don't ever want to let go. So I think that a generation that questions things is what we need right now. We need people that are going to question, investigate, research, doubt, ask for proof. We need that. That's what people need to be, because we are, being a baby boomer, we are the ones that we just believe. We follow the rules and we believe. You know, it was a means of survival for our parents getting through, and it was passed down to us, and we followed it. And it's become a problem. So yeah, we need those young people that are going to doubt, question, demand, research and facts and data. That's great. We need all that, and they are the kind of energy that needs to be going forward and taking the reins. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that kind of bothers me is we don't our hands are not on nothing. We don't do anything. This is everybody. We're not doing nothing. And when you say the young folks see what the generation ahead of them are doing, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to build somebody else's empire on their land. They want to build their empire. And we not in the empire building. So we do we gotta do it ourselves, y'all. That's the only way. Imagine the man hours we putting other people's shit together. Imagine the man hours we put in watching the football game. This is every brother in the country. Take those hours and add them all up. What could you do with those hours? What could you build in those hours? This is where we're at. Take the time that everybody's sitting in church. What can we be doing with that energy and time? This is what I'm talking about. We have to do that. We do it for everybody else. I mean, wouldn't it be a lot simpler to do it for ourselves? I mean, it's that simple. Damn ants work for theyself. And us just walking around, and this is to the answer to the brother's question. Nah, brother, the kids do listen. If you ain't saying nothing, they ain't gonna listen to you. But once you let them know what they are and what they supposed to be doing, they with it. They're your replacements. They know. They know better. That's the cold part. They know better than some adults. So
Right.
that's all I'm saying, man. Hey, let's roll.
I
We
think
don't
you
go
got to
ahead,
show
Philly.
the children. You
Yeah,
can't just talk them to death. They don't want to hear
right,
that. You
right,
got to show them and lead by example. You know what
right.
I'm saying? You can't tell them, "Hey, brush your teeth every day." If you don't get up and brush your teeth, they don't want to hear that shit. And
That's right.
definitely, from what they tell me, these young brothers, they don't want to hear shit from none of these washed up niggas who they
Right,
know is a father to one of their friends, and they don't get them no hugs. Don't get their own
right.
kids no hugs. They don't want to hear nothing from nobody that can't produce anything tangible. And you know, I see it. I had a problem where right before I left California to move to California, I was very angry at some of the things I saw. I've actually threatened people to get off the corner when I would see certain people's children, you know, running up to my car, asking me if I want to buy weed. And I'm looking for the belt like Pootie Tang, like, little boy, who is your mama? And what are you doing out here on this corner? And then when I look over and see a bunch of men with salt and pepper beards and stuff standing out on the corner with their pants hanging down off their ass and stuff, I had to, a couple of times I said, all right, I'm going right around the corner. If I come back, I'll pop this goddamn trunk. I bet this whole block gonna clear up. That's how compelled I felt to make these little boys get away from these grown ass men. And it really brought a lot of sorrow to me. Because I just couldn't understand why would they see it like that. And then I grew up in the crack era, where even the worst of the worst gave us the best advice. You know,
Right.
they didn't want that lifestyle for us. They didn't want to see us like that. They didn't want us to see them like that.
Right.
So for that's even to have with all of their sickness and ill being that they went through in the 80s and 90s, to see these grown men that don't have chemical abuse problems, but they have all sorts of emotional issues and people suffering from different types of depressions and things like that. Sometimes these kids are kind of better off to their own devices, because the people that are raising them are toxic and don't give them anything to look forward to.
Check.
So they don't give them anything to look forward to. At this point, at least you know if you have a drug addict parent, you know that there's a chemical substance in between that. But when you don't see a parent that does any drugs and all they have is this depression and vitriolic banter and all of these different behavioral issues and stuff like that, some of these kids know that they don't have anywhere to go. So that creates a different type of climate, and where they'll like to totally get away from that kind of situation. And I see them getting all types of summer youth jobs, whatever they can do to make their situation better for themselves. And I imagine a lot of those children, when they turn 18 and they get out that house, they're not going to look back. They're not going to look back.
I have so many. I have so many of my partners that I grew up with. That's what they did. They never went back ever. I know cats that haven't seen their mama for 30 years. I know cats that haven't seen their daddy forever. So, as everybody can see, this is what I like everybody to do. Before you come to Georgia, I want you to check out a place called Georgia Guidestones online. Check out Georgia Guidestones, and when you get to Atlanta, we're gonna talk about it.
Yes, I'll visit them.
Leesa, on the health part, this coronavirus that's going, I know, and I don't believe nothing on TV, so I'm not really into it. What should we be doing now with all of this going on? Coming from a professional.
Well, I just think that a lot of it's a lot of propaganda. But wash your hands. Don't be nasty. Wash your hands. Don't touch
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just nastiness. It's just like it's a
Right.
regular virus. It's been on the bottle of bleach since forever. Okay, it's something that is in our contact every day. You know, I don't know what was. I feel like it was some kind of chemical, biological warfare that was, to reduce population reduction that was happening in China. I don't feel like it was coronavirus all driven. They're trying to mask what was really being done. It's not cool to have gas chambers in 2020. So you have to have a virus to kind of explain why you want to get rid of some of your numbers. I don't really feel like the thing is that people get horribly sick from the flu. People get horribly sick from pneumonia. How many people die from pneumonia? The pneumonia you would think, oh, pneumonia. That's been around forever. It's very simple. Chest cold goes bad, blah, 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 infection. No, people die from that. It gets horribly out of control. And I have seen, in particular, the worst pneumonia patient I've ever seen was an Asian. He was an Asian young man, as a matter of fact. And in my opinion, maybe they're just not very equipped for dealing with very bad respiratory situations. You're usually quite healthy. And I feel like if, they are confronted with a respiratory situation, they are not equipped to handle it. Whereas a lot of us have, battles with asthma or various other things, and we can fight right through it. But for them, I mean, he was horribly sick. He was in his 30s, late 30s. He had a young child, middle to late 30s. He was a young child, and he should have died. Like, he was so horribly sick. Every technology that we had available, we had to use to keep this man alive. He did make it out of the hospital, however. But like, I think it's basically that an infection of whatever the source can go horribly wrong. And the best thing you can do to fight it is to be as healthy as possible. And like for my grandchildren, they were having some, upper respiratory things and stuff this year. And so I just made sure that I got them elderberry and, the old school cod liver oil, castor oil, grapeseed oil is what I actually use. Castor oil, grapeseed oil, elderberry, vitamin C drops, and they have like a mixture of that. And either they,
That makes sense.
I,
So you take that every day?
Not me. I'm impervious to a lot of that, but for my grandkids, yeah, I made a thing of that up for them with a lot of elderberry, the grapeseed oil, which is really high antioxidants. It's the best oil you can possibly use. I use it for everything I do, and then also castor oil. Now, castor oil is so good. Like, if you have a cold sore, it'll make your cold sore disappear. Castor oil is amazing. It's good for arthritis in your bones. There's a lot of very good uses. So, and it's always been around. We've always used it. As a matter of fact, anyway, I'm not going to that. But anyway, but basically that, and also, like I said, vitamin C drops are important for them to have. All of that, I make it to like a little bottle that I can they can just, kind of punch it out and put it into a little cup or a little syringe, and then they can take it. But you have to keep them kind of built up, because they're going to schools with these nasty children that are, wiping snot on each other and not washing hands, and what other kind of conditions they live in, and animals and all kinds of other stuff are coming into play. So you have to make sure you arm your kids up and try to encourage them to use sanitizer and definitely, build up their immunity. See, the problem with the young folks is they don't even have an immunity built up. So, you have to kind of support the babies. And then probiotics are very good too. That's very important for your immunity. So and now we know that if you have with women who suffer yeast infections, that's the thing that you need to have is probiotics, because we're eating all these yeasty producing things, and we don't have our, the good yeast promoted. So we have to make sure we balance ourselves out. So that's also important for fighting any kind of infection, bacterial infection or otherwise, is having your probiotics all in line too. So that's what I think. And I think I think a lot of it's propaganda, but I think it doesn't hurt to be healthier and to do certain things to build up your immunity. That's good. Always good.
The reason I brought that up, because we're hearing this coronavirus, and that information is mainly coming through the TV.
Right.
Which brings me to my next questions, and I want to get both of you guys' take on this. When we talk about MK Ultra, what it is seriously, and I'm pretty sure everybody in this group knows about MK Ultra. What do you think of TV is being MK Ultra?
Yeah, so it's the major thing, right? Right, it's right in our faces. It's how big are our screens now? It's big. Our screens are bigger than us.
I got 600. What they do? Tell me. he was trying to tell me that he had 10 60-inch TVs in his house.
What are you doing to your life?
And he was saying it like, yeah, nigga, I got 10 TVs, huh? And he was proud.
His brain is fried. His brain is
I, I was like, oh my God.
man, you ain't nothing. You're worse than a robot. You ain't you. They have taken over, man. They have taken over your life.
Wow. So is that okay? So anything they put on the TV, because I think seriously, that's why I think there's a slow up because everybody's all over the place with what they show on that,
Yeah,
and I mean everybody
yeah,
has one.
yes, yes. It is amazing. Well, you understand that we're peasants, So I mean,
Right,
you gotta keep the peasants under control. That's the whole thing.
right,
Are peasants, and that's what. See, in America, the whole game is that you have to not think you're a peasant.
right,
Ah,
Think that you're
that's right.
free and we all have a chance to rise and we're all gonna do great in the world. Nah, that's not what the plan is. That's not
right,
what the business plan is. You're not taking the business plan, are you?
right.
You didn't look.
That's right.
Now
That's right.
you are a peasant,
Yeah.
and there's
Right,
different level of peasants, but you're still a peasant.
right,
And so, yeah, we're not supposed to rise up and do whatever or have whatever. And when those people that do make it up there, it is just
right,
fluke. It was allowed. It was permitted.
right,
It was all that.
right.
So yeah, the TV has to keep us dumbed down. Our schools have to keep us dumbed down. That
Yes.
what that's their purpose.
Right,
That is right.
right,
That is right. I mean, I can go. I can go years without a television. I don't. I prefer to not have it on. When I'm here in New York, they have TVs. They watch a lot of it, and then this is probably the most TV I've watched in a good 5 to 7 years. But I limit it. It just bothers me. Hearing all the propaganda and to the fear mongering and it's just too much. I don't care how tall EJ Johnson's heels are. I mean it's kind of fruitless content. But I think what was more important is the agenda at hand with us trying to get out this hole, and come out of the shadows in our own land. I think that's far more important than any TV
Right.
show that they can ever put before us.
Right. I think though it's time to also try to wake up some of these people. I see everybody like almost like all if you look on some of the indigenous sites, a lot of people are fans or friends or followers of David Banner and some of these other celebrities. But I mean, if he's your friend, wake your friend up. Why is he? I just don't
That's
understand.
right. That's
Everybody
right.
should be sending letters, email to some of these people that they think are woke. I don't know if
right,
they're woke. I don't know
right,
if they're as smart as they claim to be or seem to be. But if you are a follower or a friend of them, maybe you should spend some time trying to get them to understand what is happening and who they really are. And
right,
we need some high, powerful political celebrity, whatever advocates. You know what I mean? We need that. I think that'll help propel us because what we need to start doing is we need to start unifying on a international national level because it's getting very crazy. No, it's not getting very crazy. The energy is already really crazy right now, but it is that is getting worse, and the moves that we're making with the Native Americans and the anger that's actually brewing that I'm not really sure how to navigate personally. We need to be able to quelch that. We need to be a factor. That's what we need. We
right,
need to be a factor. We cannot
right,
we cannot be a non-factor. We have to be a united, visible factor. And
right,
that's what we must be. And not just some oh, I saw that on the internet or da da da, I saw it in social media. No. And we need to be an actual factual thing, palpable people. And
right,
and this thing that Phoenix is doing at our new year is part of that. is a part of that coming together and generating more than just thought, but just action together. Because, as we see, the Hawaiians are organizing and people are making their moves separately. What's all these separate moves? What's all this quiet little moves? Why are you organizing with Indians over here, but you ain't telling no Indians over there? Why is that happening?
Right.
You want that.
Right.
Right. And it's wrong. And that's what brought us down from the jump. We cannot promote it. We cannot repeat history. We have to know what we need to make moves that are in the light, not the dark.
Right.
Okay. Which is why my family and folks get all mad, and the academics get mad because I put out too much. Well, I put out a lot, and I do. But I do that because I believe that we have done too much in the dark. And I also want people to know that the how you make moves, how this is all happening. And I really have no fear. I don't really care, because I feel like what's for me is going to be, and what's for us is going to happen. So I really don't walk in fear. That's another thing. I don't really care. I don't give a nothing.
Right.
So, and a lot of things are happening. And so I feel like, for you to know that, the struggle of whatever, like you have to get your family together and they're not going to come, and how many hours you got to spend on the phone with one relative for them not to even get anything out of it. And for you to get it again in another couple of months or a month, and then they spend another 3 hours of your life and they still don't have nothing out of it. That is what it takes. It takes.
Is that what you just described? Is that MK Ultra? That's what I'm saying. Because
yeah, it is that. Because they really believe what they see on that TV. And outside of that, they feel like you're just fake news. They don't. If you ain't on that, if you ain't on Good Morning America, if you ain't on Fox News, if you ain't on NBC, ABC, no, they said it 1619. That's when we came here. Yeah. Okay, so that was on NBC. So you know what I mean. You can't fight what they feel is whatever comes through that boob tube is the fact.
Right.
It's hard for you to fight that, but a lot of us are at our core, we're very intelligent people. And if you give them enough information and give them the time to process it, they'll come around. They will come around. It's just that one relative might take one conversation, another one may take 12. Right. And and one thing may tick for another person, but another thing may talk for another. Everybody's different, so you got to use different approaches, and how you would address your folk, or in your strangers. And then, for me, it's about approaching a lot of strangers, because I want to include everybody that's an academic, right? So I'm like approaching strangers all the time. And which is even crazier, because they're like, who are you? And how do you know who I am? Well, I know you're dead people. I know dead people that are in your family. I don't know you, but I know all your ancestors, Right. And so, you move like that. So you're approaching people that you don't know, who don't know you, who their ancestors because you've been dealing with their genealogy, and you're like telling them who they are and trying to tell them their history. You're breaching all these gaps like that. So it's all about that. And then you got angry people that you're encroaching on their history, their land, and you ain't. Oh, I don't know you. I'm not. I'm moving and doing things for Virginia, but I don't live in Virginia. Right. I'm moving and doing things for Virginia, but I don't come from Virginia. I was born in New Jersey. Okay. Right. My people moved from Virginia to New York in the 1940s. Okay. Right. 50s. And so, it was a whole flight of a whole bunch of families. Just like I said, I was talking earlier about a family that was in Jamesburg, New Jersey. They all came from Georgia. They all came from the same place in Georgia. They were all cousins, and they all moved in New Street in Jamesburg. They had the thickest, most beautiful hair and beautiful different. Oh, they all were different shades and colors, but they all had that same thick, gorgeous hair. They all had that beautiful hair, and they were all from Georgia, and they were all cousins. And it was amazing because that's how we did that. When things got hot, we packed up and we helped each other. We migrated together. First cousins, second cousins, neighbors, friends, because we all were some kind of kin, all of the same tribe. Didn't know that. But that's what that was. And so that's what happened with the Acamats. And so because of that, there's a whole bunch of us that are out of state in New York and New Jersey, all over the world. But the people that are there are like, you ain't no kin. I don't know you. You didn't grow up here. But my brother was born there. Everybody in my family is from that same little peninsula. Our genealogy is only there. So it's like, it's a lot to kind of get past. It's a lot for people to process when you're dealing with folks that, first of all, they're in a very, very small town with very, 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 very different ways of thinking. And they are being, told something that it is kind of out of the pocket for them by a stranger. That's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do. And it's in one of the most racially oppressive places in the nation.
No, because
that county where it all started, man. All that stuff started right there in Virginia. So, it's rough.
And that's one of the, and this is especially to the listeners, this is one of the ways that when you check your genealogy and how she just explained, you see where she said those sisters moved from Georgia up to where she was living. So what made them move to Georgia? It was probably some kind of like Mississippi burning type shit, whatever they did, some kind of war or something. But some people,
it's like 1950s after World War II. Brothers came. They had swagger. They had education. They were taught things. My
Removal Act
education in the military. He had all kinds of little certificates. Wasn't even aware of until he passed away. I was like, he got this class, that certification. I didn't even know. So when they did that, they came back with a certain kind of swag and a certain kind of expectation that they would go get something. And then they were like, oh no. And they slammed those brothers down. They were lynching brothers. They was doing all kinds of stuff. You couldn't get no job. You couldn't even move around. So they had to leave. It was that the oppression and the terroristic acts. Let's talk about terrorism.
Right.
Let's use the right words. Terrorism.
Right.
Occurring against our people. And it continues to occur, but it was occurring in mass. And so families, whole tribes, whole nations were moving. They were in motion from Mississippi to Chicago. They were in motion from parts of West Virginia, Tennessee to Ohio and different places. We were all in motion trying to avoid a Holocaust. Yeah.
I think that's one of the phases of history that's real close. Because I think when we be trying to do this Egyptian shit, go back 10,000 years.
Right.
What's right in your face, I think could help us a lot, so the stuff like you're saying, because that connects us, because everybody, people from that side of town can see the movement, see the times,
right.
To connect to each other. What do you think on that, Phoenix?
I think that, give me 1 second. I see something in the chat that I wanted to address.
Okay.
Also, Marcus Adamo, what state do you live in? I see you saying that the young people need to be the first to understand this, and we don't have enough boots on the ground. I don't believe that to be true. I don't know how sheltered people are. See, when you got to be active in the community and kind of look at what's going on around you. I think that you will see that the children are, and when I say youngins, because to me, a 30-year-old is a child to me, right? Because I have a son that's almost 30. So, so anything I would say 25 and under, certainly they are looking for a better way, and they are absolutely taking different steps and measures. They just need to know what it is that they have to target. You see, because they do have goals, and it's not like to be like any of the other losers that came before them. So what it is now, we have to give them a target to hit, something to look forward to. If you just redirecting them, it's not going to be a big deal.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I say, and this is what I see with the youth, give it to them straight, no chaser. They love it like that.
Mhm.
Do not bullshit them. Just give it to them straight. They with it. Because like it's like she was saying, all this shit we've been doing in the past, that civil rights shit. This lady was talking about the civil rights thing, and I asked her, was the civil right, didn't that help us stop buying from each other? Didn't we want their stuff? Didn't we stop? Wasn't that the time when we stopped doing business and loving each other? Wasn't that the major? Wasn't that important? And she looked like she was staring in the headlight. And the young man behind me told her, he said, "Ma'am, it's time for you to sit down. It's time for you to sit down because it don't work." All these, and especially that was the time when TV came out. When TV first came out, when the MKUltra first started, because many of our people didn't get TV to 1955, around that time. So in looking at it like that, you have to look at what was happening at a specific time. Like what was going on when she said the people left Georgia and came up there. What was going on? You have to look at that time and also figure your genealogy in that too, because maybe you were affected by what was going on. So that's important for you to know. Is that right, Leesa?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's important for you to know. It's important for you to know where you come from, and it's
Right.
important for you to know where they come from. But I think that I think it's also important for us to just like make sure that we're including more people. Like as we talk, it seems like the same people are talking to the same people. I hope that people are talking to people other than just the same doggone people. You know what I mean? I hope you're having conversations at work with people that are of different races and backgrounds, because this is how you create the energy that you need. This is how you create the energy and change that you need. The more people that know, the better. If we're all just talking to the same people over and over again, you're not going anywhere. You got to get that. You got to get the news broadcast far, 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 far reaching, and that means talking to a lot of different people. Which you know, I was talking to an African sister just yet. I guess it was the day before yesterday, and I was telling her how I'm working with my people in Virginia, and she kept asking questions, and I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm trying to organize them and as a American Indians," and she was like, "What? Oh, really? Oh." I said, "Yeah, what are you trying to do?" And so, "Well, I'm trying to get our land rights back." Land? I want some land. Now let me tell you something. How many relatives and strangers have I talked to? How many people am I trying to get together? Thousands. And I can't get a reaction like that from the people that it actually impacts, who are of the heritage. But this kid from Africa wants to be us.
That's the truth.
She want to be us. Like she seriously wants to be us. And we want to be her. What? What? I don't get it. I was like, I need you to talk about this. Like, this is crazy because people don't understand how much you see what we have that we are not getting. We are not trying for, we are not recognizing, and we are not seeing. She sees it, but we don't.
Check this out. Check this out, you guys. Take a look at this sister that's on the screen, and then go pull up an image that's about a 16 something image. The name of the image is called The Reconciliation Between Britannia and Her Daughter America. This sister right here on the screen looks just like this sister Any sister you see walking in the street in any place in this country, one of the MK Ultras was to make you think that she came from Africa. So this is pointing back to what this African sister's doing. Africa is a continent that has been dug out, scraped to the bottom of the barrel. This is a new place. It hasn't been. It hasn't been. So before these foreigners came, ask yourself, how much trash was over here? Where'd that come from? Trash. How'd your home get trashed out? How did you let somebody come to your house and trash up the place? And you walking around arguing with each other on some dumb shit. How are these people doing this to you in your house? And you don't have nothing to say about it. See, the youth want to hear that because they know they got a part to play. Now the civil rights, they played their part. We got to get totally from that because that's dying. It's dead. It don't work. It didn't work for them. It damn sure ain't gonna work for you. This is your land. This is your home. Think we better start acting like it.
How powerful is that when you walk around and you see, the lakes and the trees and the mountains, and to me, everything, the highway, everything. If you see that and you know that this is your homeland, I think that is a game changer. I think if you grow up with that mindset as a young person, it should be a game changer. It's about trying to get them to see the possibilities of what you can build, what you can create from what is yours. What you can create from what is yours is such a powerful thing. It is so powerful. And to get them to kind of understand that, okay, whatever you can imagine, you can create. It's yours to create. And this is all yours to work with. Man, come on. That's it. That's all you need.
So it would behoove us to all these foreigners coming over here and you don't know. They here. So we're behind the eight ball, kind of say, because they don't support you, but you support all of them. Everything you do. Now, y'all motherfuckers, I really don't have no for, because really, you support everybody. Everybody. And you have an arrogant attitude like I can do what I want to do. Nah, cuz uh-uh. They're sucking our energy dry because their homes, they rushing over here because their homes are shitholes. Trump was right on that. They've been digging in Africa for what? you know, you know how when you're eating ice cream and when you get to the bottom of the carton and you be scraping out the juice, the ice cream, the last of it, that's how they've been doing Africa for years. Over here, you still have parks. In every state, they have these national parks that are pristine. Those are yours. But you saying somewhere over in Africa is your stuff. You make an ass of yourself, cuz. This is your home right here. Phoenix. To close out, tell us again about what's happening in 30 days.
In exactly 30 days from now, the No Grandma Killers Tour in Atlanta, April 4th, Saturday, April 4th. The website is now active. Go on over to nograndmakillers.com. And you'll see what's going on. The tickets, you'll be able to buy the tickets. The links for the hotels are going to be there that you'll need to book your hotel. You guys have until March 20th, or the hotel is going to go back. Don't keep in mind that is NCAA Final Four weekend. So you definitely don't want to be homeless in Atlanta when you come down there. So make sure you take care of that. Check out the website, t-shirts in the building. Get your No Grandma Killers hoodie, t-shirt, whatever, and we'll see you there. It'll be. I can't wait to see you guys there. Thank you so much, Carrie, for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And hey, we got to do this again because
Yeah.
you guys, I'm trying to really pump this. So I want to have her back, let you know how everything is going because this is important, y'all. This is very important. Leesa, please bless us with your with some words.
Let's see. I just want to encourage everybody to keep talking to your family, and please talk to strangers, talk to people at work. Don't just keep your indigenous self to yourself. I hope you're making sure that this is something that you bless the world with, because it's that time. Bless the world with the information. It's not just for people that have like mind. It's really for the people of other minds. Okay, because that's how we're gonna change it. That's how we're gonna change the game.
Like the sister said, speak up, stand up. So, this is the home front. Protect it. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time. Peace.